Welcome back to episode 3. And I am Okechuku Onyenyong, you know. And I'm
It's a
here
very
with
strong name.
yes, even my own Igbo people don't know how to pronounce my own names. So I just said let me just spell it out for the first time. But yeah, and I'm here with the beautiful Idara. And in fact, beautiful Idara. Okay, first of all, you need to let everyone know. Are you single, searching, mingling, let us all know, let us all know, let us know.
I am single and ready to mingle.
All right. Okay, so as I
Mhm.
said, we're going to be talking about fake life on Instagram or any social media platform, right? So,
Uh, okay.
right? So you can tell us your idea of what fake life is.
When I think about fake life, I'm more always leaning towards like in terms of like making money and showing all the bags and or even how people do like the wake up with me a day in my life. It's kind of like everyone's showing the putting their best foot forward. And you
Okay.
can kind of get caught up just like thinking like people have this kind of perfect life when that's really not the truth.
To be fair, yeah, I totally agree with you in the sense that, fake life is just basically misrepresentation of whatever, you are not. You're just representing yourself in a manner that does not, you know,
Mm,
it's
right.
reality, right? And
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, what do you feel is the reason why people do that? Why do you think people do that? Do you think it's inferiority complex? Do you feel it's like an avenue to sort of mingle with, a kind or a class of people, you know, or do you feel like it's their way of hustling, as they would say?
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you think?
I think it could be two-sided. Like I feel like there's a positive side of it a little bit and the negative side. I think the positive side is like it's almost like a fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because to a degree, like no one really is out here recording like their worst days or which I don't necessarily think you should. So so I think to a degree it's also a way of, for lack of better words, therapy. It's like when I put out when I'm looking cute or like I'm doing something fun or something that's not necessarily like part of my like everyday life, like that technically isn't fake, right? It's a snippet, right? Which I
Mhm.
guess people can get confused with that being someone's whole life. Whereas the other part is like the intentionality of being fake and wanting to be like, oh, this is how I live every day. Um, I never have any problems to gain clout, gain money, and So I think everything with social media and posting, like it depends on the intention behind it. You know, there's good and bad.
Okay, okay. So how would you exactly say, Instagram has influenced, or anyone, you can use any media platform, any
Mm,
how would you actually say it has influenced that concept of fake life actually?
mm. I think there's no like fact checking with Instagram.
Yeah.
You, it's like anything can be the truth. So I feel like having that kind of platform because it's almost like being a journalist in a sense, right? It's almost like
Yeah.
you're putting out news or putting out information. Nobody can check you. Nobody can vet it or say like, oh, this is a fact. So I think in that aspect, it's like it's giving people more room to be dishonest and fake, like you say, right? Because there's no accountability.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
but now the question is, okay, so would you say you don't need to list names anyways, but would you say
I'll list.
no, don't list. Thank you. Don't list. Please, please. Please, nobody should come for me. Oh. Please, please. Okay. But would you say somehow, uh, the people, I won't say the people around you, but you've come in contact with people you believe misrepresent themselves? Would you say so?
Mm. For sure. I feel like even outside of, so two things. I feel like even outside of misrepresenting yourself, even sometimes just appearing on camera, um, you can misrepresent yourself in the sense of certain angles and certain lighting, like gives a different uh, gives a different perception of who you are, or maybe even how you look, right? So that's one.
But I've seen you,
And
I've seen you in different lightings, and it's nothing has changed though. So where's the fake life there?
I'm not part of the fake society
Okay.
at all. What you see is what you get.
All right. I like that. Go on.
But the other side is just that when so yeah, I have met people who get, I guess, misrepresent themselves, but that's also left to my what's the word, my view or translation of who they are, because there's a certain Instagram influencer girl that I follow, and I saw her in real life, and
There was nothing.
there was it's just like this regular girl, but there's this thing about like clout and content creation sometimes that can make it seem like all these people like are supernatural or out of reach, or you know um
But you realize that
so
sometimes
yeah.
it's just people's hustle, right? Like as you said, it's just people's hustle. Like I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
because think about it, the aspect of you being to a certain degree, some level, like some aspects of, or will I say some areas of content creating, I feel like it's
Hmm.
basically fake life, right? Would you say so?
Yeah.
Because there's some
Oh.
people that posing with clothes that they actually didn't get,
Hmm.
or they are basically posing cars that they didn't get, or they are trying to hang out with people just to,
Hmm. For
sort of,
clout.
yeah, yeah. So some people's hustle, man, like,
And you know what, I can't even be mad at the hustle, right? Because I can't be mad at it, because if you see me doing a little hustling, like allow me, Sha. But I guess it's like, how do I say it? Like I keep going back to like intention.
yeah,
So it's different if you're putting out information and you're like outright lying, or because I mean we all know when someone does a wake up with me or spend the day with me and we see them record themselves wake up, we obviously know that's not how they woke up. They set up the camera, they went and lay down in bed, right? So
yeah,
anyone with common sense knows that there's a level of like production or fakeness that is involved in that.
yeah.
But when you make it, and I think that's the thing with like some couples channels, even though I love it, but it's like, oh my gosh, he just scared me. Like I didn't know he was gonna pop out of the oven, or oh my god, he bought me a Lamborghini. Oh my god, like that's a level of fakeness for me that cringy.
But the question is, what's the motivation behind it? Like, what exactly? So I think my next question would be, what would you say?
Okay.
Um, Anyways, I think you've answered the question in regards to common practices in terms of editing of photos,
Mm-hmm.
to sort of present themselves in a manner. But as I said, it's everybody's hustle, and at the end of the day, people want to sort of portray the best part of them. You're not going to post yourself crying, right? It's that's just weird on
That
some.
even gives you clout too.
Well, to be fair, to be fair. But what would you now say is the motivation? I do believe that maybe yes, it could come as a result of, okay, I want to have more followers. I want to have, you know, I want to validate, but what do you feel would be outside that whole I want more followers? What else do you feel would, fall under that motivation for living a false life? What would you say, so?
I think outside of making money,
Yeah,
which, like you said, we can't blame anyone's hustle. Like make that money.
yeah,
Um, I think there's also like a level of insecurity.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if I've ever been in that place where, because I don't really like edit my photos, or I think the last one I posted, that one was the one I edited because I usually don't like how I look edited anyways. But so I can't really relate to that, but I just think there is a level of like insecurity or wanting to, right, just wanting to be like someone else. Or I think sometimes it doesn't even have much to do with like the people seeing your content, but more about you. Because like you're gonna still go back through your feed, you're gonna go back through your videos, and if you're not secure or you have things that are significantly bothering you, like a lot of people like do that for themselves. Because even let me expose myself a little bit,
Yeah.
but even when I take like sometimes when I take a video um, or a picture on like the regular camera, like I'd just be looking dusty. So I got to switch to Snapchat where I can get the filters because, you know, the regular camera is not giving what's supposed to give. So I just think I think usually it's more personal than it is to like deceive people though.
Okay.
Um,
So, so,
yeah.
so, so in a sense, would you say the the backbone of misleading people is insecurity and the craving for attention
Yeah.
or even validation?
I think on a personal level, it's insecurity, and I think maybe three things: insecurity, clout, money.
Okay.
If I can simplify like that, at least from my perspective, might be different for someone else, but I think those three.
Okay. So how would you now say is what was the impact on the mental well-being? Because
Um,
because because so the reason why I'm saying this is that, and just maybe giving an example, because if we can sort of say that somehow there's insecurity in the process, right? Would you now
mhm,
say, because there are a lot of, especially now that there's so many diseases, coming from, and I mean mental diseases, yeah, you have either identity crisis, you have, there's just so many things that could come, out of anything, especially in the West, right?
mhm.
So my point is, how would you say this whole concept affects the mental well-being of, individuals? What would you say?
I mean, at this point, it's like it's the whole world of AI and technology. It's not even just limited to, you know, socials, but I think that I'll give you an example. So like even when I'm looking through my feed, right, there's just so many conflicting contents, even in terms of the people we see, and then especially when it's not an accurate depiction of like who people are, right? Because obviously we see different types of different people with different faces, body types in everyday life. But
Yeah,
it's like when it transfers to the phone and you're literally seeing hundreds and thousands of people in an hour or whatever, I feel like it's almost like conditioning our brain to not even understand like what reality is, right?
yeah,
Except you're able to pull yourself out or you're conscious of it. That's why like it affects younger kids a lot, right?
yeah,
Because they don't have the understanding of what they're seeing.
yeah,
So I think that it's just one of those things that except people like you have self-control and awareness of what you're seeing and what you're participating in terms of, you know, social media, it fucks up your mental health because nothing is real but you're wanting that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm guilty of it, but I try to be conscious that, you know,
But
the only women that are shaped like this are usually melanated women. So when you see all these girls, like it's like pick one, you either go get surgery or you accept the body God gave you.
fair enough, fair enough. I think also to add to what you sort of said, I in a sense, right? Because of the fact that, as I said, on the foundation, like if we're just saying the backbone of all this is insecurity, seeking of validation, you know, money, business.
Right. Yeah.
So I think there's this external pressure, right? You know what
Hmm.
happens when you are under pressure, right? Sometimes you end up either breaking down, so what I'm thinking, like if I'm just thinking out loud, yeah, I'm sort of thinking, there could be a situation where I won't say a situation, but they could this whole concept maybe would, affect or would actually lead people to have like anxiety issues, you know, depression. You're depressed about how maybe, for example, maybe because you're not seeking those or you're not getting this validation that you sort of want. Uh,
Hmm.
then you now realize that you're not sad based on what you are now getting from whatever feed. If, as you said, if you're not conscious of what you want out of this.
Hmm.
Um, so it's crazy because at the end of the day, if you are not, I won't say it's maturity because I'm not sure this has anything to do with maturity, but I think it has to do with consciousness and discipline, right? So if you're not any of
Hmm.
the two, there's a very high chance that, you are most likely going to fall victim to one of these three things, whereby you're seeking, you know, always seeking external validation. Oh my goodness, I can't go out because, my makeup, is this sort of way, or
Done.
shit, I can't go out with my weight, I can't go out without my make waist trainer because of this, or maybe if I'm broke now, right, I want to be driving renting a Lamborghini because already people already see me living, like
Yeah.
a superstar and stuff, right? So if you're not careful, you're most likely going to start falling into all these anxiety issues, depression, and maybe even financial issues as a result of that constant pursuit of nonsense, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I will say, like, having grace for the people that are content creators and, you know, people who put themselves out there. And we're not talking to, I'm not even talking about the people who just post for fun or just like regular pages, but people who are, trying to make a living or something out of like social media.
Mhm.
I will say people can be mean and people put their mouth like where it doesn't belong. So I can, in a sense, understand that pressure of, I feel it takes strong will to resist it, right? And it takes like understanding of who you are and the purpose of what you're like why you're putting things out and what you're putting out. Um, but I can see how it's easy to, you know, kind of get into that mental space of, anxiety or doing things for the wrong reasons, then getting broke because the demand and pressure does get real, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
because you get low clout and then they start inviting you to events, inviting you to this and that, and
yeah. Then you want to maintain that, and you're maintaining
yeah,
what you don't have. It's crazy.
yeah.
It's no, because I think I was saying this, I was saying this, it's just like how, and not as I say, it's everybody's hustle, right? But the fact
Mm-hmm.
of the matter is that I feel like there should always be some level of humility in everything that people do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you look back, right, you will see that maybe you have very well-to-do people, seeking you out, and well, supposedly well-to-do people, right? Seeking you out, but at the end of the day, you're not looking back and you now realize that how or what because of the pressure for them to maintain a certain lifestyle, you now see them actually, doing things that I know, and I mean, I'm speaking, I know they can't afford, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sort of clothes that
Ah, child.
their bank account do not,
Is
it does not relate. So that one I
is
can. tell you free that that happened, So
Say names.
I can't say names though. I mean, I'm see. First of all, I'm never really a content creator, so I can't start. I don't want to follow that where
Not yet.
it's true now, but but funny enough, I don't even blame people because okay, like now for example, if I open my Instagram now, I could open my Instagram and maybe just go through my stuff, maybe go through my feeds or whatever they call all those is my reels, right? And you notice that the certain level of visually appealing content that comes up, right? So in a
Yeah.
sense, what to me it does is that it encourages people to sort of maintain a sort of polished and artificial image to become visible. Because
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was in a conversation with someone and the person was telling me that, yo, get you go. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it's good. Anything that is worth doing well, right? But it was this sort
Yeah.
of advice that, you know, translated to you need to do this so that you can appeal to this, right? Let
Mm-hmm.
people see this so that you'll be able to appeal to more this. And I'm
Of these
and I'm
people.
putting I'm putting gas because I don't want no judgments and anything, but but no, no. but but the whole point of the matter is that, as I said, there's so much pressure, and the thing is, it can even it actually transcends even past um social media. To be fair, I think sometimes even the community, right?
Mm.
You're looking at. So let me give an example now, right? For example, you have parents now. You have parents maybe not out of not out of anything, but it's unless maybe genuinely they are close to God. And I'm saying close to God in the sense that everyone knows that everybody has different timelines, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody understands that. Thank God for my parents, man. So my point is that you see a situation where some certain parents will put in unnecessary pressure, right, on their kids because of the fact that brother
Look
Chuk,
at.
brother Chooks has a car now. So you so
Do you remember that girl that
do
you
you
were in
remember
school
that
with?
girl? That girl that that was there. She's junior. You ought to
Her
be
mother just called me.
or maybe they'll be telling you that Sister Maka, Sister Maka is married though.
What does that have to do with me?
What are you doing? So I think so that's what I'm saying. So it even goes beyond even social media, right? I think even community or our culture also sort of puts a level of pressure that makes you just to fend off those expectations, right? You start to now, fall victim of those things. As I said, thank God because I'm using because I know that they have guarded me from a lot of things. Even me, I'm aware of because I grew up being aware of the things that they had guarded me away from, right? So
Mm-hmm.
understand that everybody has their own race, right? I do not even give a hoots that someone is here and me and no, I don't care about all those shit. You get,
Yeah, that's good.
but I'm just saying like generally I've seen and I've come to know that society, community, culture,
Mm,
social media, a lot of variables sort of
mm.
affects and puts pressure on people to exhibit or present themselves in a way that is untrue, right?
It's honest, right? Mm-hmm.
So it's I can't blame anybody, I beg. It's easy to fall victim for all those things, I beg.
It really is.
So it is. I mean, I don't have the kind of money for fake life, so you know.
But see, that's why you have to do why you have to do the fake life to make the money.
No, no, no,
You
no, no,
get?
no, 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 no. I don't have the kind of money for fake life because I feel like that pressure. Me, I'm a very laissez-faire individual, right? So that pressure,
Mm-hmm.
trying to constant.
Keep
What?
up.
Do you know what I'm saying? How? Like what? Maybe
How?
maybe I now have like a debt of like 10 to like 50 million on my head just because of the fact that I want to keep up with societal,
Right.
expectations, right?
It's definitely not worth it.
Nah, it's not. It's not in any way or form. So I don't know. That's my own view, right? But I don't know
Yeah.
what do you think exactly?
I mean, I completely agree. Like, there's definitely pressure, especially for like younger people.
Yeah,
Um, and then the pressure also comes from I don't even know where it started from, but I feel like right now we have the how do I say it? This is a time period where like younger people are becoming like younger people, like even teenagers from like 17 are becoming like millionaires
yeah,
for not doing much,
yeah,
but you know? So
yeah,
I feel like, so even just from seeing that, it's not even a thing of, parents putting pressure on you, but it's like you're seeing all that. And let me use myself. I'm 25. And let's say you see a 17-year-old, 18-year-old um, making a TikTok or something, and they're making bags. I feel like sometimes that can subconsciously in your mind kind of be like, well, what do they do when they're younger than me? It's not like they know more than me. Like, well, what do I have to do?
yeah,
And you don't even realize, their circumstances. Yeah, they were able to shoot in a mansion because they have a friend of a friend who invited them over, and they just happened to shoot that one video that ended up going viral.
yeah,
And so it's just this thing where if you allow yourself to like keep comparing with other people, um, we just end up in this place where we then put pressure on ourselves. Because I was supposed to be a millionaire at 23, if I'm being honest,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I see that.
but
I see that.
we'll get there. We'll get there. But that kind of a thing. And I feel like even when I was in college,
No, no,
you
no.
think
We,
about
we
those
need to
things.
we need to be specific here so that people don't get it wrong. We're talking millionaire in dollars, not naira for all those viewers out there. Dollars, dollars,
In
dollars.
dollars.
So let's get it right.
Let's get it correct.
We've forgotten naira already.
God. Um, but no, even like just being in college and you're studying hard and you go online and you see someone that, and then at the end of the day, it's this comparison thing, which you don't have to do. Everyone has their own destiny and path,
Yeah,
but you can't help but compare,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, so I don't know. There's a level of pressure we put on ourselves too. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
So in a sense, right, do you feel that maybe just being real is possibly the best way to go? Like I is share your highs and your lows. Let us see everything. Why do we need to just see one part of you? What do you think about that? Just curious.
Like I said, the thing with sharing any part of your life is that people start to behave like they have a say, or you know like their input is straight from God, right?
Yeah,
So it's like I feel like it's even more honestly, like, it's sad to say, and I hope it changes, but it's even scarier to put out negative things
yeah,
because
because
people do put negative,
it could be used
yeah, because
against
people
you.
do put out negative things, but you have to be very careful in the information you're putting out if you're
Yeah,
not trying to find any trouble or anything,
yeah,
because people are so quick to judge you. People are so
yeah,
quick to tell you what you're doing wrong,
yeah,
and it's not even criticism that you can learn from. Everyone just wants to People just want to laugh. I mean, the internet is funny, but like when it's not happening to you. But people just want to laugh and have their own input, so it can be dangerous
No, I agree with
to
you.
put out your bad sometimes.
Yeah,
I always think about like couple vlogs and everything, and sometimes you see those comments where it's like, oh, you don't post like when it's sad. You guys act like you're happy 24/7. I'm like, does someone have to tell you that this is not how it is 24/7? Like they're just showing you what they want to show you. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna show you when me and my man are arguing or,
yeah.
having a conflict. So it's just I don't think it's necessary. I think maybe you can create content where there's something to learn from it,
Hmm.
but not just putting out it at this point. If you don't know that no one's life is just going in a straight line, I mean, going upwards, then that's on you.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, now that so I definitely agree with you 100% because what this we have so much information just hanging around that people because I think I did a video on selective hearing and to be fair, selective, understanding too comes in play because what I've
Yeah,
realized is that the most interesting topic sometimes could be, you know, this particular individual either buying a 2004, G-Wagon or Brabus, this thing, but and converted and be doing Starboy, in the Nigerian space or whatever the case is. So we're so quick to want to just latch on to those kind of funny or horrible news because then I look at it, Nigeria has so much dollar, market problems. But meanwhile, there are some other places that, or there are some other things that actually are going well with Nigeria in a sense, anyways.
yeah,
So we're so quick to latch onto the bad that careful what you put out, to be fair. Just be careful what you put
good or
out.
bad.
Good or
Yeah.
bad, right? And but generally, I feel when we're really looking at it, right, we need to be cautious in the sense that, you know, um, the like now, for example, social media or maybe like the people that are of high standings to be able to, provide some sort of impact on people's lives. I think they should be able to because as I said, I had asked on the mental issues that this sort of causes, and I feel like it's something that people need to be very, very vocal about because this really does affect on people's psyches, right? Mental health is very important.
Mm.
So I feel like, yeah, I do feel like to some extent, these platforms or these influencers also have a part to play in the sense of being socially responsible, and sort of help address some of these things because, or even aid to prevent, or at least assist to prevent all these mental issues that could come out, as a result of the use or constant use of all these social media platforms or the societal pressure that comes with this lifestyle that, is being presented, right? But
Hmm.
as I said, I'm curious to hear your take on that because as I said, this does affect mental issues also I think it's something that needs to be, touched really.
Every influencer obviously has a responsibility, right? Because you're influencing people.
Yeah.
Um, I think it reminds me of, I'm trying to think of the quote. I can't think of it. It's actually a Bible verse, but I don't know it verbatim, but it basically says like, um, something about if your actions cause other people to like sin or falter or something like that, that there's a punishment for you. I digress, but like I
Yeah.
just use that
Yeah.
to make a point um because we all have an effect on each other, and to think that we're all kind of on our own island where it's like I can just do whatever I want because it's my content, it's my page, but it's like, okay, who's watching it? Like there's a funnel it's going through, and then how is it impacting the people that are seeing it and then going out into their everyday lives and like doing these things, like even when you think about example like plastic surgery, which I'm
Yeah.
not opposed to
Right.
responsibly,
Right.
but
Can you let our viewers know why you're not part of the you know
the
the,
surgery squad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let, let,
No,
let,
no, I said
uh-huh.
I
Why?
said I'm not opposed to it.
Okay, you're not opposed to it.
No,
Uh,
responsibly.
oh, okay, 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 okay.
But no, I was just saying, like, even things like that where, um, people get work done, lip fillers, cheek, whatever.
Yeah,
And, I know a lot of them, even sometimes when they talk about it, they're like, oh, I don't have to say anything or that kind of attitude, like, it's my body, I can do what I want. For sure, you can.
yeah.
But there's still a responsibility for there to be an amount of truth in like social media. You know, get what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm,
then we're having all these like young girls, even myself back in the day, because I'm educated now.
mm-hmm.
But back in the day, like seeing all those things and just in your mind thinking like, oh, I need to fix it. Can you believe I wanted lip fillers at one point?
Mm.
For what?
Right, right.
But like just like silly things like that, and because people don't disclose, so you're looking at this person and you're like, okay, they look this certain way. The only way you can replicate that is by getting work done, but they never, said that, or not even that they don't say it. Sometimes people are actively dishonest and they'll be like, oh, I was born this way. This is my nose, but they've had a nose job, things like that. So how is that not your responsibility?
Beyonce sang, is it flawless? I woke up like this. I woke up like this.
Me too.
Flawless. But yeah, as I said, I definitely agree with you. And I think, as I said, I'm not going to use any major example because I think it is well known. Like unless it's just a clear case of ignorance, right? There are instances of people who live or fell victim, or got backlash from the fake life, right? In the sense,
Mm.
because as I said, for you to be able to fund fake life, you most likely would either do nonsense to be able to live and maintain that fake,
Mm-hmm.
right? It can happen and it might turn out good for you. But I mean, like if it's done, so you know, so let me just split it now, right? That when we're trying to address this, right, or address this topic, let's just put it in the aspect that we're trying to address the evils, or at least the will I say the dark side of what it is, right? Because everyone,
Yeah.
like I said, it can be people's hustle, right? Editing some of your pictures here and there because you want to look appealing to yourself, whether or not for your validation or not, it's your own prerogative, right? But I'm just saying, like in the sense of when you are now doing it at the detriment of your mental health, or you're doing it at the detriment of other people, right? Because let's be frank, if we're even saying, yeah, like the G boys and the likes, right? That's the detriment of other people because you're doing something else that funds your lifestyle, but it's at the detriment of other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are the dark side and shadows of all these things, right? So I think it's just, as I said, there's a responsibility on these social media platforms, right, to promote transparency, and
And I think people like that more. Like, I there's this false idea that we all want to see like perfection.
mhm,
And I feel like because that's what we're fed a lot, that's like what like we take in. But even when you look at like comments and even when I have discussions, like the people, most of the people that I follow that I connect with are people who are honest, who show you their journey, who show you their process, right?
yeah,
So from grass to grace. And if from what I've noticed, it never gets so it even goes beyond like what we do. It goes also to the big bosses, like the people in control of the algorithm and things like that, because they'll push the albeit evil things or the worst things, right? They'll push that before they push the more wholesome people being upfront.
yeah,
Um So it's very weird, but I mean that's kind of how the world is though, they're trying to break all of us,
I think
but we will
I
never
think
be broken.
you might say that though, but me, I'm human. I won't like I've fallen and I have I've fallen, but it's just that I stand up, but I have fallen. Oh, I am
Of course.
the definition of imperfect in every form and in every way, you know.
Mm,
But
mm,
but but yes, I hear you, it's crazy, but I think as I said, this just looking and thinking about these concepts just to me just makes me just say, okay, you know what, man, anybody that sort of sees this, just be conscious of, how you present information, how you receive information. I think it's an interesting view because, to be fair, let me be honest with you, when I said we're going to talk about this stuff, I didn't really think too deep into this topic, right? But I've
mhm.
just realized that to a certain extent, it has so many, you know, points of contact that, if you really say you want to dissect, there's so many things to say. There's so many
Yeah.
things to address, right? And,
Mhm.
as I said, look at it now. Yes, people do things, people present things in a manner. And at the same time, there are some underlying effects whereby people are harmed in the process, either, as I said, either as a result of mental issues or financial losses, and damages in general, right? So it's a very interesting concept. I feel like that can even be fleshed out more when you really think about it. You
Yeah, for sure.
so
I think about it all the time. Like even the platforms themselves, like how addictive they can be, right?
yeah,
It's so like the way it messes with like your dopamine levels. And I was also like thinking about we've only like you can be on there for 1 hour, right?
yeah,
I use myself an example. I can be there for an hour and finish, and I remember one thing I watched. It like what is that actually like? That affects your mental health
yeah,
in general, and then not even talking about the actual information itself. So I don't know. There are lots of people to blame, but at the end of the day, to me, I think it goes back to personal responsibility.
yeah,
Um, Especially for older people. Obviously, younger kids have to be more shielded and guided, but like as an adult that's thinking for themselves, caring for themselves, like it's kind of our responsibility to, you know, think things out. Like I said, like to be able to tell that someone didn't just is not, there's not a camera crew recording them while they wake up, like and think, oh my gosh, this is how they wake up. So like aesthetically, like their teeth is already brushed or whatever. So you have personal responsibility to be able to say like this is how much time I'm going to spend on this. And it's not easy at all. But at least if you're aware of it, you can do something about it,
okay.
I
So lesson learned is that you shouldn't be calling me and be saying I woke up like this now.
think. I do wake up like this though.
Please. You would have brushed your teeth and say, okay, let me call Okechukwu.
Ah, please.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, actually, that's
uh,
accurate.
but anyways, I woke up like this, as you know.
It must be nice.
Yeah. I remember, I, I remember the time you were like, "Oh, wow, you're done. You're done getting ready. Oh my goodness."
I was so shocked. Like, wow, must be nice. I have to dedicate like 30 minutes to it.
Oh, an hour. Oh, an
An
hour.
hour.
Fine, an
All
hour,
right.
10 minutes to be precise.
I did this for you, so you better appreciate it.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem. Anyways, so thank you very much, the lovely Idara. Always remain beautiful. And as I said, she's single. Not sure if she's searching, but she's single. And, reach out to her. She actually does post a lot of content on her page, so you should check her out, actually.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we see. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure, having this conversation and hopefully gonna have you again.
For sure. This was fun.
Yeah.
You're a great host.